Hello everyone and welcome in my cooking channel Czech Cookbook. So today we'll be making one of the number one dishes in Czech Republic. It's just a must to try when you go visit because it's just amazing. It's nothing that you have ever tasted before. And it's so amazing that people have it as a wedding dish. It's very common to have this as a main dish on the wedding. And for those of you that went to Czech Republic and tried this at the restaurant, you know what I'm talking about. It's just amazing. But one thing, what's different, in Czech Republic we use vegetables that are very common. They're very common in Czech Republic, but they're not as common as here in US. So what I had to do, I had to work on this recipe for some time to create it, a recipe that I can use easily accessible vegetables, so you don't have to hunt for them, because you can get it, but it's not as easy. For example, in Czech Republic we use a celery root, but if you go to any store, they just don't have it. It's not that common. And another thing is a parsley root, which I don't think you even never heard of it, right? So instead of it, I kind of experimented and created a recipe with vegetables that you know and can easily buy, which is a parsnip. Anybody can buy a parsnip, it's everywhere. And you don't have celery root, so I decided to try to use celery, and it worked. And the taste is so same, you cannot tell a difference. So I'm really happy about it. So let's get to the recipe. And as you see, there is a ton of ingredients. So if you want a list of ingredients, go to my website, which is in the description under the video. There is a link, it will take you straight to my website, to that post, and there you find all the ingredients that you need. So we will start with the meat. For this meat, for this dish, which by the way is called Svíčková, in English it's probably called Sirloin in cream sauce, because we will be using sirloin. Here I have about 2.5 pounds of top sirloin. It's a beautiful meat, and you can also use tenderloin. Either one of those are great. I use the sirloin because it's a little less expensive. Then we have 4 pieces of bacon. This is a little thicker, so I recommend using a little thicker bacon. It's not thinly sliced. Then we have salt and pepper that we'll put on the meat, 2 tablespoons of butter, 3 carrots, big carrots. Then we have 2 parsnips. One is really big and one is small, because this way it makes 2 normal size parsnips. Then we have onion, 1 big onion, 5 stalks of celery, and now spices. We will need a pinch of ginger, ground ginger. Oh, by the way, every time I say butter, I'm using unsalted butter, because that's a butter that in Czech Republic is very common. It's the most common, and nobody uses salted butter. So if I say butter, it's an unsalted butter. So the spices, here we have 3 bay leaves and 6 allspice. Here. Try to pick bigger balls, because then they are easier to get out of the sauce, because we are not going to eat it. And same with the bay leaves, we have to pick it at the end of cooking. So remember, 3 and 6. Sometimes not all of them I found in the sauce, so that's okay. It ends up being all mixed up together. Then we'll need 6 cups of water, 1 tablespoon of salt, and this is separated, this is for the sauce. And now, in other part of the video, we will be finishing up the sauce. So we will need another cup of water. Here we have 1 cup of whipping cream, and inside of the whipping cream we will mix 1/4 of a cup of flour. That will be for thickening the sauce. Then we have 1 cup of milk and 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. This is a freshly squeezed lemon. I recommend that one, not the concentrated lemon juice, because it's not the same. So squeeze the lemon, and it's 1 tablespoon lemon juice. And let's start to create this amazing, incredible recipe. Also, as a part of ingredients, you will need 3 more things, and these are at the end when you are done with your meal and you will just put it on a plate and you want to have it nice, and plus it tastes amazing. So what we have is 1 cup of whipping cream, and I will make my own whipped cream, which is pretty easy, but if you don't want to make your own whipped cream, you can just buy it in a store. That's fine too, and just use the one in a spray bottle and just spray it. And then we have a cranberry sauce. This is hard to find throughout the year, but they have it for Thanksgiving and Christmas, which is right now, so I always stock up, and this will make it really tasty too. It's a cranberry sauce. And the last thing is a lemon, which we will slice and put it on top of the meat. So that's all. First step is to prepare the meat. I already washed it, and now as you see, this meat has a big thick layer of fat, so I'll get it off. Here I have 2 slices of bacon. For now we will need 2 slices, and let's cut it like this big. That's good. We'll be putting this inside of our meat. Let's get a piece of meat, and now what you'll do, so I have 2.5 pounds of sirloin, and it's cut like this. It's pretty thick. So what we will do, we will cut carefully. We will cut a few, about 3 pockets. So just go with the knife like that. You want to have it deep enough, but you don't want to do it through the other side. So just like that. And I bend the bacon and just stuff it in the hole. See it? Bacon is inside, it doesn't show on the other side. And this will make the meat taste amazing. So I might do just 2 or 3, depends how many slices of meat I have. I was able to cut some in half, so I have about 7. So I'll do 3 pockets in this one. This is amazing idea, right? Okay, 1 more. The meat is done, nicely put with the bacon, and now we'll put salt and pepper, and let's put some salt on both sides, and on one side I just put pepper. Let's slice the remaining bacon in small slices. Let's set it aside. We have also the meat ready and set aside, and now we will prepare the vegetables. Our vegetables are washed, and we will need to take the skin off. So I'm using just the potato peeler. It works great. Just cut this little front and the root. Okay, this is ready. And we will do same with the carrots. And with the celery, I usually take this end off and the tip. Carrots and parsnip, you can use either this grater. I would use the big side, or you can use food processor, which I love to do because it's fast and it saves your time and your hands. But the celery has a little strings, so it doesn't work to put it in a food processor. So what I do with celery, I just chop it in small pieces, just like that, and that's fine. Just small pieces so they cook better. And with the onion, we will also cut onion in small pieces. Now it's time to cook. So let's turn on the stove. I'm using big pot, wider better. I don't have any wider than this, but that should do it. And now we have those 2 slices of bacon, So let's put it in. And we will wait till it releases some fat. And you should stir it so it doesn't get burned. I cooked it on low, and so we don't burn the bacon and fat. Now it looks good. So let's put the meat on top of it. I even lowered it. I have it now on number 4. And now you wanna put all the pieces of meat, and we wanna sear it from both sides. Put all the meat in, and it was on low, so now we can raise it because we want to sear it from both sides pretty fast, and the meat will shrink a lot. And so you guys know there are more cooking methods how to make Svíčková. I'm using this one. Some people would use just big chunk of sirloin or tenderloin and cook it in the oven. We will cook it in the oven also a little later. But this is my style of doing it, so there is just more ways how to do it. After a minute or two, we can flip it to the other side. Just want to sear it. That looks good. Be a little careful, so the bacon, that's why we do the pockets deep enough so the bacon doesn't come out. This way it stays. Now let's sear this on high for about 1 or 2 minutes, and then it's ready to be taken out. This looks good. Let's lower the flame and let's get the meat on a plate and try to get that bacon that was inside of the pot, because we will need that one. So let's get it off. This one. This is a part of the meat, that's fine. Let's put it on a plate. That's good. The meat is out, and we still have it on low, and we'll put 2 tablespoons of butter in. Here's the butter. Let's try to melt it. We don't want to burn the butter, so let's keep it on low. About 4 or 5. It already smells amazing, just the bacon and the butter, and who doesn't love bacon, right? So now we'll be adding all the vegetables that we pre-cut. So here is the 1 big onion, 5 stalks of celery, thinly cut, very small pieces. Here I have from the processor carrots, 3 big carrots and 2 parsnips. And the processor just did all the work for me, which I'm really happy. And now let's dump this all in. We have this pile of vegetables. We need to stir this, and let's roast it on the butter and bacon. So let's put it a little higher, the flame. After 2-3 minutes of roasting it and mixing, we will be adding, I'll lower the flame again so we can add the meat back to the pot. Just lay it on there, on the top of the vegetables. Meat is back, and now we will be adding the spices. So here is a ground ginger. Just let's do a little, like a pinch of ground ginger. Here we have 3 bay leaves and 6 allspice. We will add 6 cups of water. And last thing for now is 1 tablespoon of salt. We will wait till it starts to boil. Now it's boiling, so let's put it on lower and put the lid on top. Have the lid a little cracked so the steam can escape. And make sure it's always boiling. So come and check if it's boiling, then that's good. Or if it's not, then you have to raise the flame. And let's set up a timer for 1 hour. The meat has been cooking for 1 hour, and it should be done. We can try with a fork and poke the meat, and if the fork comes out easy, which it did, that means it's done. And while you cook it for 1 hour, just sometimes come and look at it if it's still boiling, and I do a little stir not really big because it won't burn to the bottom. So now we will get our meat out of the pot. So let's turn off our sauce. And I try to get all the vegetables away. See how the meat shrunk? So much smaller. It shrinks a lot. And here I have a baking dish because we'll be baking the meat in the oven. So let's put the meat in there. And before we put our meat out, let's heat up the oven to 350. So the oven is ready when we are ready. Another fun activity is right now to take all the spices. So we have 3 bay leaves and 6 of these allspice balls. So we have to try to get all 6 of them. So I was able to find all of the spices, which is great. And now here we have the 1 cup of water. So let's pour it in a baking dish for our meat. And when the oven is preheated, we will put it in for half an hour. Our meat is in the oven for half an hour, and while we wait for the meat, we have to make this sauce. So I'm using this amazing hand mixer, and now we will have it and mix it. It's pretty loud, so we will be mixing it so it's all smooth and all the vegetables are mixed up. Some people would press it through a strainer and all of that stuff, but this is so much easier and it will make it really smooth. It is done, and look how creamy this is. It looks so good. And now we'll be adding more ingredients. Let's turn on the stove again, and now we can put 1 cup of milk. Stir it. I'll put it a little lower. Here I have 1 cup of whipping cream, and we will be adding 1/4 of a cup of flour. This is our thickening sauce. And now we can whisk it together. We don't have any clumps in there of flour. This is probably good. Now, important part is to get a strainer. I'm using this stainless steel strainer. Let's put it inside, and we will have to pour this mixture of whipping cream and flour through the strainer, because there will be pieces of chunks of flour, and we don't want that. So now I dip it a little bit and try to squeeze it through it, but at the same time we have to mix it. And I'll try to squeeze it through the strainer. Still a little more. I want to use it all. You can also get it from the bottom. You have to stir it well. Last thing we will be adding is 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. So here is 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, freshly squeezed lemon. Stir it in and bring this to boil, and let's boil it for 1 or 2 minutes, and then we are done. It's important to let it boil for a little bit so the flour can thicken up the sauce, and just a couple of minutes should do it. So the meat is done, and what's amazing about this, the top is actually crispy and in the middle it's soft, so it makes it so delicious. And now we can serve it on a plate, and I will show you how to decorate it. I want to show you how I make really fast whipped cream. You can either use store-bought, or if you want to make your own. This is 1 cup of whipping cream, and I'm just using this hand mixer. And here you have to be careful, because if you overdo it, then you will have a butter. So just be careful. and know when to stop. Getting thicker. That's it. See how fast this was? It's incredible, isn't it? Now it's time to decorate it. So we have bread dumplings, then we have the sauce. Now in the middle you will want to put the meat. Now goes lemon. Here we have the cranberry sauce. And on the top I'll put some whipped cream. Doesn't this look just amazing?